One of my favorite quotes is by Anne Sullivan. "Too often, I think, children are required to write before they have anything to say. Teach them to think and read and talk without self-repression, and they will write because they cannot help it." For just about 10.5 minutes here, I am going to attempt to get you to think without self-repression. I had a very atypical upbringing. I was born at home on August 20th, 1985. I was raised by two parents who worked at home. I was very fortunate to be in an extremely loving, constant attention environment with two adults at home all the time to raise me. I was homeschooled, so my learning started at a very young age and was completely unconventional. They taught me how to learn, and they taught me how to teach myself basically anything, a skill which I believe no children in today's world are really encouraged to learn. I wasn't allowed to watch television. Me and my sisters were only allowed to watch educational programming on PBS. We did watch Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers, but that was about the extent of it, sometimes reading Rainbow. But we had no exposure to the mass advertising and social conditioning that are, in fact, inherent in the system today. We were raised vegan, which is another anomaly on top of all the others back in the 80s. It was very, very strange to find a family that was vegan, an entire family, and children being raised healthy on a vegan diet. So needless to say, I had a very atypical upbringing. What happened as a result was I grew up in an environment where learning was encouraged, where I was never wrong for being wrong. I just simply hadn't found the answer yet. Where eating was an essential part of health and well-being. Where having your mind open and your time free to explore and think and create was in fact the essence of living and the reason for existing, not just something you got to do when you weren't at work or school. When I was 9 years old, my parents got a divorce. My dad moved pretty far away, and my mom started working full-time outside the home. I also consequently started public school. In a very short period of only a couple of years' time, I had successfully integrated into modern society. I went to public school. I stopped caring about learning when I wasn't there because I was so exhausted when I got home. I stopped eating healthy all the time because of my mother's need to work all the time outside the home. We ate a lot of convenience food and a lot of lesser and lesser healthy foods. My health suffered as a result. In fact, I became more and more obese all throughout my public schooling until I left the public school system and began to learn how to eat on my own, which was many years later. I also began becoming an addict to television. When you have not been exposed to the brainwashing that goes on in the television for your whole life, and then you watch TV, it's like this. Bye, 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 bye. It's a huge mind shift. And the violence, I used to throw up watching people getting killed in movies and on video games. Throw up. I was physically ill because I had not been exposed to that disgusting, horrible, horrible human destruction as entertainment. I'm still not desensitized to it like most people in this culture are. But I can watch it now, and it doesn't make me throw up. Going through this shift, realizing I was being susceptible to the media, being susceptible to this rampant materialistic culture, being susceptible to feeling like I'm inferior because of the beauty industry, because of the diet industry, because of the media feeding the image industry, I, over the course of 10 to 15 years, became depressed, obese, in debt, miserable. I had health problems, and I had mental problems. When you really look at what this culture creates, we see it creates mindlessness, consumption solely for the sake of consumption, in fact, consumption to soothe other physical or mental problems that we have. You see terrible treatment of the planet, and we just all start participating in this system. When I moved into this system, I didn't know what I was getting into. It was just my parents got divorced, and here I was in public school. Here I was with less parent attention and less of an environment constructed around happy learning. And I immediately fell prey to the system. And it was only when I had dug myself into $12,000 of debt, which might not seem like a lot, but when you make $20,000 a year, $12,000 of debt is a lot. And I was 230 pounds, and I had high blood pressure and constant depression. I felt like I was going nowhere when I realized that I was, in fact, making the choices that made this reality. And the truth was that I was making choices based on my social conditioning, which were leading to my own destruction and misery. It was at that moment when the game completely changed. For me, the Zeitgeist movement is about human potential. It's about taking what we know and actually applying it, as opposed to ignoring it for the sake of the profit system, because whatever we know is truth. We can only pursue if it has a profit behind it. And unfortunately, most of the healing, beautiful things in this planet that we could do don't have a profit behind them. In fact, the truth is, this entire system of cyclical consumption that we have in this country is the cause of all of our problems, and it's also the cause of our lack of progression toward greater developments, toward global discoveries, toward incredible human consciousness shift. We are a victim of a tiny box. So I ask you to look at this example before you start thinking that I'm crazy. If you take a cat and you put her, say my cat, in an apartment, and let's say she wasn't homeless first, so the only thing she knows from birth to death is this apartment. And I tell her these are the rules, and I yell at her for certain things, and I reward her for certain things, and I encourage her to be a cat. She's going to grow up in an environment where she knows what not to do, where she knows what to do, where she knows exactly how to manipulate the system. Humans are no different. And everything I'm talking about here is not an ism. We are in a box. Socialism, communism, capitalism. It's all in a box. It's all in that apartment, and we are the cat. And we keep trying to find a different system to fix it, to fix the global poverty, to fix the constant obsolescence of our technology, the constant waste, the pollution to this earth. But none of that can be fixed because we're in the same box, where profit is God and where the money system is the only way to be. We have to be laborers in this little box to make the money, to be the consumers. We have to be the employee or the employer, and both of us, employee and employer, have to be consumers in order for this massive system to keep spinning. And let me tell you something, it doesn't have to keep spinning. It doesn't have to keep spinning. The only reason it keeps spinning is because we keep living in a box. If we remove the box and open our minds, the solution is self-evident. We have to get rid of the money system. It's not about politics. It's not about money. It's not about profit. It's not about corporations. It's not about cultures. It's not about religions. It's not about pitting one human against another. In fact, our very system creates that. The monetary system creates classism, creates inequality, and it is proven across the board. Inequality is bad for humans. And inequality, as much as every system wants to perpetuate it, that inequality is bred of our lack of heart. In fact, inequality is bred in the money system. There's a great website, equalitytrust.org.uk, showing conclusive proof that in more equal societies, physical health is better. Mental health is significantly less in more equal societies. In more equal society, drug abuse is significantly less. Education is significantly better. Imprisonment is significantly less in more equal societies. Obesity, way less in more equal societies. Social mobility, way higher in more equal societies. Trust and community life, way better in more equal societies. We're not talking about a utopia here, we're talking about common sense. And that's why I support the Zeitgeist movement. The beautiful thing is we have time and we have truth on our side. It's bittersweet. But we are right, and we will be right in the end. Hopefully, enough people will wake up and get out of the box and realize that the system that we have creates destruction. Not just of the environment, not just of our social structures, not just of our education or our ability to think critically or our health. It literally destroys humans themselves. Our quality of life, our ability to adapt, our ability to work with new ideas, to create new things. It's actually limited in an environment where people work best if they are worker bees. Bzzz. Make money, spend money, make money, spend money, make money, spend money. Oh my God, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Make money, spend money, make money, spend money, make money, spend money. Oh my God, I'm in so much debt. Make money, spend money. Don't you see? Don't you see? It's all dust in the wind. If you heard any of the words that I was saying and you want to learn more, check out the zeitgeistmovement.com. The movie is Zeitgeist 3, in fact, Moving Forward. Zeitgeist Moving Forward. Link is ding! Please check it out. You can watch it on YouTube. It's almost 3 hours long. If you'd like to learn more, feel free to message me. Unlike my other videos where I tend to only answer the top 2 or 3 really most important questions, I will answer every single question you have about this down below. Any hate or cruelty for the sake of cruelty will be removed. It's my channel. End of rules. I would like this to be an open forum for intelligent, enlightened discussion. Thank you for joining me in this video. Think outside the box. It's our only chance.